Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to look at the b5.5 air conditioning unit and how does it work. Just before we look at that, please do subscribe. Just hit that bell, hit the subscribe button, and I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers, and that's my goal for hopefully midway through 2021. So if you can help me at all out and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. So we're going to look at how does the actual AC work from underneath the engine bay. What is it like underneath the engine bay and how does everything work? So this is a schematic I drew up. I have the loom and I just the harness, and I traced every wire and figured out what it all does. And I can't find anywhere on the internet that actually just explains this, so this is what I did. So if you follow the lives, so this is a 40 amp fuse, or fuse 40, and it's always powering. So we follow it down, and we're going to go to this one first. So that stops just here at relay 373. So it just stops there and it's happy out. And we follow the other one, it comes out down here, it stops here as well in relay 370, and it's happy out, just 12 volt, sits there, grand. It waits for the next signal. So when you turn on your car, or the ignition is on, this now gets 12 volts. So the rest of the time this has always power, but it just stops there, where this is 12 volt and it turns on the relays. If it was wired the other way around, your relays would actually drain your battery. So this comes in here and it goes down to here, and this is a temperature sensor, I believe. I don't actually have the temperature sensor, I just have the plug, so I figured that out. It's a temperature sensor, and if, say, between 4 and 3, these two pins, if the temperature, or your water temperature, your coolant temperature gets, say, to 95 degrees, it'll ground and it'll turn on this fan here. So that means this signal here is now grounded because the temperature sensor has grounded it. So the 12 volt that was sitting here now jumps around and come all the way out here, down into this big giant resistor. So it work all the way through the resistor, so it loses a little bit of power. And then it turns on your fan, so the fan's going at a slow speed. Now at the same time, the engine gets hotter, the fan isn't cooling very well, and the temperature gets up to, say, 110 degrees or 105 degrees. It now grounds this one here. This 12 volt that was sitting here bounces around, comes all the way up through, bypasses the resistor, comes straight down and then into your fan. So the fan is now going to spin fast because it didn't lose any power to the resistor. So that's that side of it. So let's just say that was without climatic control, and that's how the internal fan would work, or the fan underneath the bonnet would work. Okay, so now we're going to say there's 12 volt here, it's going to come down all the way here and back up, and it goes through this plug here, which is, I think, this one here. There's another plug like this underneath the bonnet, and it goes all the way up here, and this goes to a pressure sensor. So this is a pressure sensor connected to your Hvac or to your AC line, and I believe if the temperature exceeds a certain pressure, it'll ground. And when that grounding happens, it's the same as saying there's high temperature and ground it, and the same thing again, your high speed fan will turn on. So even if the engine isn't up to full temperature, if for some reason there was high pressure, your fan's just going to turn on. So the next wire down is 12 volt in, and 12 volt comes in this way. This is what I think it's asking, is everything okay? So it comes in, it comes up here, and this is, I think, normally closed, so only when the pressure exceeds it opens. So it says here, is the pressure exceeded? No, it's closed. Only when the pressure exceeds it opens, and so it breaks the circuit, so it's constantly closed. Comes back, goes into C3, or no, sorry, C2, which is the back of this plug here, which is this one here. No, this one here. And it just tells the controller, yep, everything's okay. Everything's okay, everything's happy, pressure's not exceeded. Great. So then, with this one here, when it turns on the AC, I believe what happens is it turns AC on first, or the fan's on first, and then your compressor will turn on. So it says, right, D16 ground, which is this wire here. If we follow it back, it just grounds it internally inside the cab. So what did we say it was? D16, which is probably over here somewhere. It just grounds it, and it's the same. We follow that all the way back. It's the same as saying low speed fan or low temperature. It just says the controller has control of turning on and off the low speed fan. So that's a safety aspect to keep the AC coolant at a lower pressure or lower temperature. The other things to look at are the 13 pin, which is for your engine temperature, and 14 and 15, which is for your outside air temperature. So outside air temperature is on CAN bus and it goes to your cluster. I don't have the cluster, but through CAN bus is how it displays the temperature here at the side. So how does it all work? So it sends out a question, is everything okay? These pins report back everything is okay. So it then grounds D6. So that's 12 volt in, which is this one over here. This one here is 12 volt in. D6 is this pin here, it grounds. So when those two are grounded, there's 12 volts sitting here constantly, and that sends it down to your AC compressor. And that's how the whole system works. And if I go down the AC route, maybe next year, or if I get sponsorship and someone's on there to help me get through it all, probably will go with this system, or else I'll look at a B3 or a Mark III Golf cooling system. Slightly different setup, doesn't have any of this stuff here, it's all done in the one controller. And yeah, there's a few extra things, like outside air temperature is controlled through, it's kind of like on a daisy chain. So if everything has to report okay, and if one thing reports not okay, it won't turn on. The other thing that I don't have in this, which is, it's in one of these wires. There's hundreds of wires coming out of the back of these, and it tells the ECU and pin, I think it's 37 and 39, rev up the engine, because the AC compressor pulley is going to turn on and it's going to take some of the horsepower. So if you're running at idle, it'll actually stall the car. So it just tells the engine, okay, just rev up a little bit because there's an extra load coming on, and that's all it does. So you do need to tell the ECU that, and I think that's everything. So it's a pretty easy system once you work all of it out. Took a long time to work out because I'm not an AC person. I've never looked at AC, I've never installed AC before, and I know there's a really simple way of doing it. It's basically just have an AC compressor and all your lines obviously in the car. Don't bother with any of the safety stuff. You just have one button, and when you press it you get AC, and when you stop pressing it you don't get AC. Probably incredibly dangerous, because if your pressure exceeded, there's nothing here to cancel anything. So if you look at it, if pressure exceeds, it'll turn on the fans. So it'll turn on the high speed fan. If pressure exceeds, it'll tell the controller to turn off the AC, even if you want it. It'll say, nope, you're not getting it. The pressure has exceeded, so I have to wait for everything to cool down, the pressure to drop until, and then I'll give you AC again. So it's kind of all the safety stuff built into it, which is really clever how it's done. Hey guys, so there you have it. That's how you wire up one of these controllers. Yeah, took a hell of a lot of time to figure it all out, and yeah, whether it's this year, next year, or the year after, I will eventually hopefully get AC into this car, because of course I have no sunroof, so this car is going to get pretty hot. And yeah, if you're an AC company and you're hopefully in Ireland and you would like to sponsor me and hopefully get this project moving a bit faster. So yeah, I could need all the help. So don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Support me in PayPal in the link below. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.